everyone and welcome back to the channel for another spooky video. So in today's video I'm actually going to be redecorating my house. So the bottom floor of my house has been the same for quite a while, and don't get me wrong, I really like how it looks, but I decided to redecorate for Halloween, and I was going to just tweak and change it and add Halloween stuff in, but then I thought go big or go home, so I decided to completely scrap every single room and decorate 3 of the rooms down this bottom floor. I did a main living room space, I did a kitchen space and a bedroom space. I went full on Halloween and kind of gave each one a different theme, so as we go through I'll obviously explain how each room's a different theme, but I thought it'd be quite nice to see a different style in each room in case there was any particular style took anyone's fancy, and obviously utilise a lot of different furniture. So let's get started. So the first room we are starting off with is obviously our main living room space. So in here I wanted to keep it feeling very witchy. That was my main thought. So I wanted to use a lot of the new witchy items. I did start off with using the new wallpaper and floor. I do end up changing this and tweaking it a little bit because I felt like the floor and the walls just looked too overwhelming together. So I went for a different flooring, changed the doors to some of these cottagey style ones, and my vibe in here was very much, I wanted to go for a kind of quaint witchy cottage off in the forest. Now as you can see, this shot is a little bit overwhelming, and I know a lot of people are going to look at this and be like, oh my god, what were you doing? I very much wanted to just place everything out and then build, which is what I do outdoors. Now when you try and do that indoors, you end up with this. So at the start it does look a bit overwhelming because there's so much stuff in here, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So I actually decided to play a little bit of game of Tetris and basically move things about, try and get things into their spot, which probably meant it took me 10 times longer to do this than it would have normally, but I, you know, had fun with it anyway. So as you can see, I've placed out a bunch of the items that I want to use. I do end up using pretty much all of these. There's only a few that I didn't fit or didn't feel like worked. So I started off with a little entranceway table, added in a phone and some little items, and added some bookshelves to the wall. And then as you see as we progress through, I will start Tetrising all these items into spaces that obviously I will explain as we go forward. As you can see, overall in this room I decided to use obviously a lot of the new items from the current star path. So that was really handy because it means that you guys will have these. And I also wanted to use a lot of the new paintings that we got in Scrooge's. If you have the Storybook Vale, these are like the Sleeping Beauty paintings, just because I feel like having a wall just covered in paintings just looks so cool to me. So I started to place those in. Obviously it started to shape together the living room space with some of these green chairs and couches, and also use the new kind of like mushroom wall piece as a nice kind of display in the living room as I started piecing things together. I started getting to the end of the furniture and kind of everything had a different place, I decided to actually add in the Haunted Mansion piano. I completely forgot about this and was going to use a different piano, and then thought, actually, we've got to go full on spooky vibes here. So I decided to add that in to this corner. So we've got a kind of living room section, we've got a desk area, and then obviously the entranceway part, and then obviously this little piano section. So it kind of meant I could divide things up quite simply. I do like to do this when I create living rooms, is make sure that I can like keep things separated. So I definitely felt like that was something I achieved. We started putting together the last few furniture pieces, obviously adding in some lighting. I obviously do go ahead and add in a bunch of the floating candles around the whole room, as you can see, to obviously fit this vibe, and kind of tweaking and changing the final few bits. Now, once we had finished the living room, I then went in and started working on the kitchen. Now, I did debate what kind of theme to go for in here, and I actually ended up going with a full-on like autumnal kind of pumpkin-y theme. So this could definitely work if you're not someone who's super into Halloween or that kind of vibe. This one's definitely more of an autumnal theme. So I added in a bunch of the rustic kind of style furniture that we got with the Storybook Veil, as well as some paintings again. And then obviously as I go forward, I start adding a bunch of the more kind of like autumnal items. There is a couple of Halloweeny things in here, but it's mostly an autumn vibe. As you can see in here, I decided to kind of have this long round table. I wanted it to feel like a harvest table, and I actually added in some of these bind fences in here because they look like bookshelves, so they kind of work really well as bookshelves in here. So I decided to line those along the wall, put a bunch of paintings above it, which I just think look really cute, and added in some of the pumpkin wallpaper that we got with Fairy Godmother. For the main kitchen, I just went with the little tavern item we got with Flynn. I usually go for like full-on countertops in a big kitchen, but for this build I decided to prioritize the space for this main table and use the little tavern item and just have this kind of tiny quaint kitchen, and then obviously this little cupboard like storage area in the corner, and went for some really warm lighting, lots of candles, and some very cute simple windows. The final room, I decided to do the bedroom. Now, as you can see straight away with all the items I placed out, this room is going to be very purple themed. So it's going to be using a lot of the items that we got from the Forgotten, both, and obviously as well like the ones we get from Scrooge, the ones we get from our character leveling up, things that are really simple and easy to get. So in here I added in some of that wallpaper, the thorny door. I also added in a bunch of the Haunted Mansion paintings that we got in a Star Path a couple of years ago now, and a lot of purple. So basically, if you have any purple furniture, this would be the room to use it in. And I decided to kind of piece those together and make it feel very Halloweeny in here, so I decided to add a little couch section with the brand new hanging potion like cauldron, because it's massive and I just felt like it looked really cool in this back section and fit the theme. Obviously I used the purple chandelier as well as the really cool craftable like Sleeping Beauty wall piece behind the bed. I just felt like that looked really like interesting, and I don't get to use it very often, so I started to kind of obviously piece all the items together that I had and it really give this room a kind of Halloweeny but mainly purple vibe. So here is the final build. As you can see, we are starting off in the main room, and as we walk in we can obviously see we have got our little piano section in the corner. We've got a lot of the new potions cabinets that we have got from the current star path, and obviously I used the frozen bookshelves to line this wall. I really love using bookshelves to kind of decorate a whole wall and use as a backdrop. We've obviously then got our living room space with all the paintings, and also obviously some of the more Halloweeny items like the cauldron and the pumpkins to really fit that vibe. But I felt like in here it definitely gave off a witchy feel, felt quite small and quaint, which was the aim I was going for. I wanted it to feel like we were in a little cottage, so that was my main aim in this room, and I feel like it kind of definitely has that and utilizes a lot of the new star path items, which I definitely wanted to prioritize. After that, we're heading into the kitchen kind of dining room. As you can see, this one, as I said, has a lot more of an autumnal theme. I used some of the pumpkin wallpaper, created this really quaint tavern kitchen. As you can see now, I've put a bunch of autumnal and kind of cozy foods onto the table and the tavern bar. I feel like this just completely elevates the room, and I love using food to decorate, so I decided to pop a bunch of those on there so it felt like a kind of full table where people would sit and hang out and enjoy the kind of full season together. So the final room is obviously the bedroom, and as you can see, as soon as we walk in here, we are hit with a purple theme. It's very, very striking in here, but we have obviously got some of the Ursula windows to fit the vibe. We have got the bed with this gorgeous backdrop, which I just love how this worked. I feel like I'm definitely gonna have to do this in other rooms because I feel like it works well. I added in the little bassinet as a tribute to Bean, just to feel like it is my room because it's obviously in my house. And then we have obviously got the kind of back corner, which is actually my favorite part, which has got the paintings with the cauldron and the little couches. So those are the final rooms. I hope you guys did enjoy. Obviously, as this is my main house, I wanted to make it really something I loved and really fit me. I like to kind of decorate my house as if I was actually going to live in it. So that was the vibe I went for. But if you did want to see a kind of like complete witch house or a complete autumn house or a complete purple themed house, let me know down below, because I'm more than happy to do that. And also as well, I left one room empty on the right hand side, so let me know down below if there's anything in particular you want to see in here. I thought I'd leave it up to you guys. It doesn't have to be Halloween themed, but it could be. It's completely up to you. But let me know what you'd like to see. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.